And we're starting the podcast, the full Frontal Nerdity podcast, brought to you by Film Trigger.
Yeah, I guess we are both Film Trigger.
Yes. And if you're wondering who this magnificent sounding man in the studio with me is, it's my son. He obviously gets his charm from his father. This is a special podcast. We did this last year.
Yes, we did. This is our 3-year anniversary podcast.
Yeah, we didn't do our 3-year anniversary podcast last year, though. It was our 2-year anniversary last year. That's how math works, or life, or time.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we've been toying around with doing a weekly podcast or a news segment or something. So hopefully this will reignite that sort of fire into it, because we're just going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
I have all these notes typed down right here. Just a ton of stuff that we're going to talk about. So.
Well, cool. Well, first of all, how you doing, buddy? It's been a while since you've been on the channel. So
I'm good. I'm very good.
You just had a birthday.
I was just about to say I turned 17 last week. Turned 17. So.
Awesome. One more year. Enjoy the free ride, buddy.
I'll try my best.
All right. How old were you when we first started Film Trigger?
I would have just turned 14.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. July 2018 is when we started. So, yeah, 14. That's weird to think about.
Yeah. Now, I really like the fact that our anniversary is on July 4th.
I like that. Yeah,
I don't think we intentionally put that out on that day. We just happened to turn on the camera and put out our first video. And
it wasn't even about like 4th of July, so like we didn't do that on purpose. It just happened to be the day it released.
Score.
I always like every couple of months I like to go back and just watch that video, because it's interesting to see how much things have changed, not only for Film Trigger but the stuff we were talking about in the video.
Yeah.
In that video, we're just like, oh yeah, so there's a Joker movie. It's rumored that Joaquin Phoenix is gonna be in it, and now like the movie is like sitting on my shelf at home. It's out, like, and don't even get me started on Jared Leto, but
well, yeah. some things never change, and your opinion of Jared Leto, I don't think, has very much.
Not very much. Maybe I like him.
The Snyder Cut helped.
I did like him more in the Snyder Cut, but my opinion on him in the Suicide Squad movie itself has not changed at all.
Do you think that the Ayer cut, if that ever came to light, do you think that could change that?
Maybe a little bit. I've always been on the side that I thought the Ayer cut might be better, but I still didn't think it would be very good.
Right.
I
think it would have been better to show whatever they were actually trying to do with Joker.
Because either way, the script was only written in 6 weeks. That is not much time at all to write a movie. Like, people will spend months, years writing movies, and 6 weeks is not a lot.
I don't know. I've never really dove into that. I don't know how long it takes on an average movie to write a script.
Well, I mean, sometimes it depends on, like how long it takes a studio to, like, greenlight the movie. Like sometimes it'll take a while to sell it to a studio, and sometimes you'll have to tweak the script. Yeah. Throughout that whole time, And
then other times there's like, that's a great idea. Why don't you shit out a script and then we'll put it in production. But we're not here to talk about the Ayer cut.
We are not.
There's a lot of other things that we want to jump on board here. And my man in the chair, Seth, has graciously brought up a few topics. So what do you want to kick off with?
I know you've done a couple live streams on someone else's channel talking about this in particular show. But I want to talk about my thoughts for a second. We'll dive into your thoughts. Loki.
Oh, okay.
Loki.
Loki. Yes, I have been doing live streams on Dark Side Review channel. With Durbin of Durbania. Matthew Hawes or Hayes, I can't remember. I think it's Hayes on his channel. And then Ramon and our UK buddy from across the pond. So, I definitely have some thoughts behind that, but what are yours?
I think it's great. I I watched the first episode of the show when it first dropped. Like the minute it dropped, I stayed up for it because I wanted to watch it. I've been excited for it, and the first episode wasn't what I thought it would be. It wasn't like, classic MCU stuff, jump right into the action. It was like you have Loki and Mobius basically just sitting at a table the whole episode, just breaking down Loki. And I thought that was, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I've always liked Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I think Owen Wilson is a good addition to the show, and just
I keep noticing, like, I know he's probably not going to do the wow, but he said he wouldn't. But I keep noticing that every time he says now or how,
yep,
I can pick up on it.
Yeah,
he's like, well, now what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
how did you let that happen?
Yeah, yep, I caught that in the last episode, but the show was really good, and I liked episode 2. I thought episode 3 was. I liked it. I think so far it's my least favorite, but I still really did like it. But episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4 was epic. And there's a reason I think episode 3 didn't hit with some audiences. And that's because, and unfortunately I was unable to join this live stream to discuss this with the guys. But I did tell Durbin about it. And I told Durbin, hey, maybe if you agree with this, share it on the live stream. But it was, we always see Loki as a person who is being controlled or hassled by some sort of authority figure, Thor, Odin. And like, he's always like, every time Loki shows up, he has that authority figure behind him somewhere, Thanos, like there's this part of him, like he needs that peanut butter and jelly. He needs that balance. And this show episode 3 didn't have that. It was like Loki carrying the whole show on his shoulders, and we weren't used to seeing him in that way. And that was the reason. That was my opinion of why, like, it was very divisive. That people thought it was not good, or they watched it a couple times and realized that it was better than I thought. And then the 4th episode came along and kind of gave validity to the 3rd episode. We understood a lot more after that.
I did. After watching episode 4, I was like, episode 3, it makes it a little bit better for me, especially the ending of episode 3. But, like, during, like, the first 15 minutes, I'd say, of episode 3, I found myself bored. I was like, they're just running around from place to place. I'm like, this isn't very interesting.
I liked it. But it's all the way through, personally. I didn't get bored with it.
As soon as they were in the train or whatever, and they were sitting down at the table, that's when I started to get into it, because I like the conversations with Loki. I like finding out what's going on in his head. Like,
oh, so you're beginning to like dialogue.
Yes, especially in this show. It's good. I like Loki. What can I say? I like Loki.
I've always hassled Seth for only liking movies that were fun, bright, and shiny, and not really following story. But now that you're getting older, I start noticing you following stories, and listening to dialogue more, and actually putting the pieces of the puzzle together. That's a fun evolution to watch.
Because at the end of episode 3, or closer to the end, they kind of brush past it in episode 3. They brought it up more in episode 4, but the fact that people from the TVA were taken from their lives,
as far as we know.
Yeah,
we don't know if what's her face, Sylvie. We don't know if she could be trumping, Loki right now. She could be being mischievous. This could be a part of her master plan, and we have no idea.
Maybe, but
we don't want it to be. That's what's going to make it so good if it is, and also like so depressing. It's so good.
I think. I don't know.
Now I got you thinking. Huh?
You do, but I still think that part is true.
You want it to be true. Yeah, I want it to be true.
But it just makes sense, because why else? Why would they prune them if it wasn't true? They pruned that. I can't remember her name, but the girl at the beginning of episode 4. They pruned her.
Oh, B-15.
Was it B-15?
The Hunter B-15. Or no, C-20.
C-20. I was gonna say
C-20. Yeah,
B-15 is the other one.
B-15 is the one that came up to be the hero at the end, which she's still alive, by the way. She only got knocked out.
Yep.
So she's still on the floor.
Yep. She only got knocked out.
Yeah.
I think she'll probably end up playing a bigger role. Teaming up with them in the last 2 episodes.
That's what I said in the live stream. I was like, I also said like, and actually Durbin beat me to the punch because I already had it written in my notes here, which I still have my notes for that. That what if these variants and like the TVA variants specifically are actually stifled heroes? Like they were stopped from becoming heroes. That's why when they kidnapped Sylvie, she was just a child and she may not have actually done anything yet, but they knew she was going to. They knew how powerful she was going to become. So they maybe like got her before she could do that and maybe turn her, brainwash her into a TVA agent. So what if all these other TVA people are the same thing? What if they are these potentially super powerful beings that were pruned from their timeline and brought in and brainwashed?
What if they're all Loki variants?
Jesus Christ.
What if they are? Like, what if every TVA
that would piss me off.
Agent is a Loki variant?
That would.
I don't think it'll be the case, but it's just.
I hope it's not the case. So what, you saying the entire TVA is based around Lokis?
Yeah.
Then
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying that that's what I believe. I'm not saying that will happen.
I mean, just anything's possible.
Throwing it out
now.
there.
Anything's possible, and I think one thing that I really want from this episode, not only to help us move forward, and course correct the MCU into a direction that we can follow it, but I really want this show to bring a new Loki out of it. And I don't mean new variant version of Loki. I mean the Loki that we know and love and hate. I've had this theory since episode 1, and that's he's going to end up becoming a good guy. And so far I'm correct because I see this change happening through the episodes. But on the first live stream, I was like, what if Loki becomes a good guy and he tries to like be a good guy in the MCU movies, but now nobody believes him. Ooh. So like it's a constant battle, like, and he knows that's the burden he has to bear, and he's willing to take that, but like everything he does is questioned, even though he's going to be, a good guy now or what have you. But then you'll always like second guess. Well, is he, or is he still punking everybody?
Yeah.
Like he's got to live with that, and that's one thing I think this show is bringing to light is to him. He's seeing all the things he's done, and like it's also being done to him. Everything that TVA's done to him, he's done to everybody else. Manipulation and tricking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I really want Loki to be a different, more like just evolved Loki out of all this.
I hope so.
I just don't want him to go back to his regular mischievous ways. I don't want him to go through all this experience for absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for the final 5 minutes of the show when he's teamed up with everyone for him to just betray them.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Or like you find out the story he tells about Sylvie and him, like he was the master plan, she came to me years ago. Like what if that ends up being true? What if he was not lying in that one woman? That was the one woman he wasn't lying in.
I don't know. I'm just, episode 4, this particularly the end of episode 4, I think this is the most like when it comes to MCU movies, I've never felt more like what's going to happen next. Like
except for Infinity War.
We kind of all knew how Infinity War would end. Let's be honest here. Like,
no, I mean,
Thanos was going to win.
It left us with what's going to happen next. That was what I meant.
Oh, I thought you meant like the end of Infinity War. I thought you were like, well, what's like, is Thanos going to win or the Avengers going to win? Well, if the Avengers were going to win, then we wouldn't be getting Avengers next year as well. But I've never sat there and wondered more what is going to happen next. And it's just like, it just kept throwing things at you. Like Mobius dying, and then them getting taken to the Timekeepers, and then the Timekeepers aren't real, or at least those ones aren't. Maybe there are actual Timekeepers.
Oh yeah, there's lots of theories of who the Timekeepers are. One of them being the what minute
Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes, yeah.
Ooh.
I mean that kind of makes sense. Miss Minutes, it's almost Timekeeper.
Yeah.
But that's also played by that one actress who did like the voice for Harley Quinn in the video games.
Tara Strong.
Yeah. She also did Raven in Teen Titans Go.
Well, I mean, all the Teen Titans show, the original one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's her. Yeah, but they just keep, like I said, they just keep throwing things at you. And then like after they cut off Timekeeper's head, he's fake. Then Loki gets pruned, and you're just like, what? And then they take you to wherever he is,
Loki Land,
and then Loki Land, and then there's 4 other Lokis, and it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that brings up a whole new question. This is we discussed this in the live stream as well, but like that kind of leaves it open to where when these people are getting pruned, maybe that's not death. You know,
I like
and they
what
kind
you
of
said earlier.
Now there is a bittersweet side to this theory, and the theory being that when they get pruned, they actually get sent to an apocalyptic event, you know, and that's just where they die. They don't actually get killed. But there's a loophole in that theory, and that loophole is why wouldn't they be able to catch Sylvie using that same exact formula to hide from them? It's kind of there's a loophole in it, and you know, again, it's just a theory that we came up with on the live stream. But yeah, this is what makes a good TV show. This right here, we're able to sit and discuss and like theorize and like come up with all these different angles and see who was right, who was wrong, you know. Oh man, so close. You know, I almost had that. Yeah.
That was the fun part about WandaVision, but the fun or the not fun part is when it ended and nobody was right. But like not in a fun way.
Yeah.
Where like everyone was like, "Oh, Quicksilver's back," and then he wasn't, and then they were like, "Oh, well, that's okay. We'll get that Doctor Strange cameo for sure," and then no Doctor Strange cameo.
Yeah, WandaVision so far hasn't impressed me. Like, let me rephrase that. I enjoyed the show, but it didn't live up to what I thought it was going to live up to, and that was okay. This is where we're going to get the multiverse, and then like they brought in, you know, that other, you know, Quicksilver, the other Quicksilver variant, if you will, since we're all using that language now. You know, from the Fox movies, the X-Men movies, and they totally wasted that. At least we feel like they wasted it. Like we felt robbed that they. Oh my God, this is it. She accidentally unlocked the multiverse. Nope, that's just Mr. Boner lives down the street.
Kevin Feige just hates Quicksilver because he got Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, killed him. Finally gets to use Quicksilver again and immediately wastes him.
Yeah.
In the same season.
Yeah, so we'll put that on the list of people Kevin Feige hate. So is it Quicksilver and Hulk? Is that who's on that list?
Yeah. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I think Quicksilver more than Hulk, but...
Yeah, maybe. Hulk still has a chance with this She-Hulk show.
I'm actually excited for She-Hulk. It looks like they're gonna dive into just Hulk in general, you know, not just She-Hulk.
Looking at like the Loki cast list, now some could argue that, you know, this is because of, you know, like flashbacks to the end game and stuff. But if you look at the cast list, not everybody from Endgame is on that cast list, but some are that we haven't seen yet. Let's see here. Mark Ruffalo being one of them. He's on the cast list for Loki. So is Clark Gregg, who plays, you know, the SHIELD agent Phil, who died. And yeah, Frank Grillo as Crossbones.
Oh,
he's on that cast list. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. But the rest of the cast is everybody that we know, and it doesn't show like, you know, like Tony Stark. You know, so it's obviously, or not obviously, but it seems to me that maybe they're actually going to show up in this. There's 2 more episodes?
Yeah, there's 2 more episodes left. I mean, it's possible, Just I don't know. This show could go anywhere at this point. Like, one of the bigger questions is, will it tie into movies like Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange 2?
Well, I mean, obviously, this is a build-up, and I even theorized that that Spider-Man will actually be the next continuation of like this multiverse story.
Yes.
And like things will start to get out of hand there, and that's when Doctor Strange and all that has to step in and like do all that. That's just my thought. Like everything.
I mean that's plausible. I mean, like,
but is it? Because it's not. I mean, it's a shared, studio movie. So
yes.
will Disney allow Sony to use their main entire plot point as a bridge into their cinematic universe? Like, I don't know. There's a huge question mark over that.
I think so. We know multiverse is in the movie. Whether Toby and Andrew are in it, that's a whole other field of questions. But we know the multiverse is involved with the movie because Alfred Molina, who plays Doc Ock, spilled the beans on that. It was kind of obvious anyway, but he spilled the beans like officially on that. Not only saying that it's a multiverse movie, but he's going to be playing the same version of Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Not like a variant, if you will, but he's going to play the same version as he did in Spider-Man 2.
And that it's actually going to pick up.
And that it picks up right where it left off.
Yeah, from Spider-Man 2, yeah.
So, we know that.
You could see the steam coming from Kevin Feige's ears. He was on red with that one, like, fuck this. I'm going to open this window real quick, because there are firecrackers going outside, and that's what I really liked about our podcast last year, is that we were outside for 4th of July, but we're inside today. But yeah, keep talking. I'll just be opening this window.
All right, but so Alfred Molina spilled the beans on the whole multiverse thing. So I'm sure Jamie Foxx is playing the same Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man universe. I don't know how they're going to explain the him not being blue, because when the first article came out that he would be coming back as Electro, they said, or he made a post about it that was eventually deleted, but I myself did see the post from him saying like that he won't be blue as Electro. So
right,
I don't know how they're going to play that off. Maybe they don't have to, but
yeah, whatever. I mean, if they choose that yellow color, they're just doing that to play into the comic book stuff, because he was yellow in the comic.
Yeah.
At least his lightning was yellow.
If I had to take a quick guess, I don't think he will be like he himself will be yellow or blue. He'll probably just have yellow lightning. That's just my guess, or yellow electricity.
Yeah, but it'll just be like just Jamie Foxx himself. Yeah. I don't know. I really like that Electro. Like I did. Like I didn't like him before he turned into Electro. That was a little cartoony. But I liked his like first appearance as Electro when he shows up, in the streets of New York, and he's accidentally doing things, and he's like lost. He's got that hoodie on. Like I wish that hoodie.
I like the hoodie.
That hoodie should have stayed. Like that's what Electro wears, is that hoodie, because that was gangster. He looked fucking badass.
I did like the hoodie.
And then he got this unknown suit. Like
the suit
had a lightning bolt on it.
Makes no sense. Not only does it make no sense, but it's ugly.
Yeah, it might as well just have like a Nike logo, just like or an Under Armour logo. Like,
yeah,
it was so cheap. Not saying those companies are cheap, but it was cheap that suit was not explained. But anyway, whether or not he's blue, yellow, whatever, but he is going to be in the movie.
Yes, those are the only two villains that are like officially confirmed.
Yeah,
so far.
Do you have a theory on that? Do you have a theory on like what they're doing here with these two? Like what their plan is? Why are they bringing these two particular villains back?
I don't know.
I do.
Oh, what? What's yours?
I think they're gonna do the Sinister Six, but like I think what's gonna make the Sinister Six, is that what they're called?
Yes.
Okay. I think what they're gonna do with the Sinister Six is something that is gonna be a little unexpected, and that is they're going to form the Sinister Six, but it's going to be like the worst versions of these characters from different multiverses. So you'll get the worst Doc Ock out of all the variants of Doc Ock, and then they'll pick him. You'll get, and by the worst, I mean like the meanest, more powerful. You'll get the most.
Okay, I was really confused by what you meant by worst.
I saw the look on your face. But then they'll take the most powerful, Electro and pull him from all the other variants of Electro and create the Sinister Six out of this multiverse situation, which will play well into like Sony having the Sonyverse, and why they don't necessarily go into the MCU but still exist kind of in that same world. It will help explain all this shit like perfectly, I think.
Well, I mean, like I said, Doc Ock and Electro are the only two that are confirmed, but there are definitely heavily rumored villains, to appear in this movie.
Like who?
The biggest one being Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. There have been like insiders and stuff writing articles, and whether you trust insiders or not, that's up to you. But usually they're pretty reliable, and some of them are saying that Green Goblin is not only in it, but he is played by Willem Dafoe, and he is the main villain of the movie.
Which is fine with me.
Oh, it's fine with me, too.
I think that's great, except one thing. They need to get rid of that secondhand, costume that they had. Like, it looked like a second-rate costume store costume. I never liked that costume from Spider-Man. It looks like he just went into a costume store and picked out a fucking mask. It's always frozen. Like, no, they need to figure out, and they can do this with this possible, like, we're going to get the worst Green Goblin variant. Yes, we're going to have him reprise his role, but it's not going to be from the Tobey Maguire world. This is going to be one where he fuses himself, and they actually have a real Green Goblin, who's physically green. Not that snot ball looking one that they had in Amazing Spider-Man. That was weird. There's fireworks.
Nice.
That was weird. Like, he literally looked like, somebody just hawked a giant loogie on him. It was so gross.
Yeah.
But anyway, which sucks because I love those movies. But yeah, I haven't been a fan of Green Goblin so far. So I really hope they course correct this.
I think the suit from the Tobey Maguire movies, the Green Goblin suit, is not good. Like, a bunch of people will compare him to a Power Ranger, and they aren't wrong either. Yeah. But I think Willem Dafoe does a great job playing Green Goblin.
Well, yeah, he's an amazing actor. He's very menacing. He just, yeah.
And if the rumors are true that he's back, that makes me excited, because it's just, I like Tom, I like Andrew. But let's be real here. I grew up with Tobey Maguire movies. Spider-Man 2, the first Spider-Man, and especially Spider-Man 3 when I was younger was my favorite. I kind of learned that it's not my favorite anymore, but growing up, that one was my favorite. And I grew up with these movies, so being able to just see any of them back is just like, it's like my... it's like my childhood coming back. Like, to you, Michael Keaton coming back in The Flash.
Well, I mean, even, and we'll get to that in a minute, but even, that's the great thing about what they're doing here by opening up this world where they can bring back, actors from previous, iterations of these characters, because it doesn't matter what age. Me, almost 40, you just turned 17. We're both excited about it for the same exact reason.
Yeah.
So we can revisit these characters that we grew up with while watching it with the character that we still like in our own right, and the new one,
yeah,
I don't. What a great time to be, a comic book movie fan. I mean, we've been saying. I think comic book movie fans have been saying that since, Avengers.
Oh yeah, because, I'll look back on videos of people talking about the first Avengers movie, because back then I wasn't on the internet. I didn't understand the hype. Yeah. Really, I was just there like, oh, Iron Man and Hulk are in a movie together? Cool, let's see them beat up bad guys. Like, I was younger. But, like, looking back, it's cool to see how big that was at the time. Like, like that one shot panning around all of them in the city. The famous shot.
Yeah, the money shot.
Yeah, like that one. Like, that, at the time, that's like, we'll never see anything like this again. Like that, this is it. Like this is the time to be a comic book fan. And they were right. This is the time to be a comic book fan. You know, you have the MCU going, you have whatever WB is doing.
But they have like almost, even though you can't capture lightning in a bottle like that again, they have done well of like recreating that same feel.
Yes.
To a sense, like the when Spider-Man first showed up in the MCU, that was one of those moments. Or Endgame when everybody comes back at
everyone
once.
Coming together.
You know, that was Avengers Assemble. Like, ah!
Yeah, you know, I saw Endgame opening night. Of course I did.
Nerd alert.
I saw Endgame opening night, and I, as of now, find it kind of hard to believe that there will ever be a moment like that in a comic book movie. Seeing all of them come out of the portals, the music that's playing. Cap is holding Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. He's holding it. And, you know, him whispering Avengers Assemble. It's just...
Yeah, but here's the funny part about what you just said. Because you were telling me that you went back and read like people's reactions to Avengers, and they thought the same thing then. That we're never going to see a moment like this again. And like here you are saying the same thing 10 years later, you know, about the last like real big MCU movie that came out. And like, so like I have full faith in creatives and, you know, people who write this stuff and put their heart into it. They're always going to find that moment if they follow the characters, if they believe in it, and they put their, you know, heart and soul into this thing. Like, yeah, they'll find it. I trust artists.
You know, there is a moment that very well may happen that I can think of that might top that moment in Endgame in the theater. And that's if we get that scene, if all the rumors are true, Toby, Andrew, Tom versus Alfred Molina, you know, Electro, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and the other rumored villains being Lizard, Rhino, and Sandman. If we get that scene,
yeah,
I don't know how I feel. You know, like I grew up with Tobey Maguire.
Your head will explode.
Just the thought of seeing him come back is just getting me excited just thinking about it.
We know Tobey Maguire is going to be in it, right? Is that a fact?
That's not a fact, but it's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
This movie's the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, Sony's trying to act like we don't know anything. We know everything. Like we know who's back. Like Toby's definitely in it. Andrew's definitely in it.
See, like to me, Andrew is still the question mark because I've actually heard him say no. I've never been approached. You know, obviously he. You know, we're talking. You know, obviously Marvel. You know, movies and you know Disney have been known to lie to their audience through fake commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm sure Sony. You know, they're just sitting back collecting a check right now, so they're just gonna let them do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, so I don't doubt that it could be a misdirect, but at the same time, like it's working on me. You know, like it's making me hopeful that he's going to be in it, and I'm not going to lie, I'll be disappointed if he's not.
I'll give you this. I'll give you one of the main reasons, using that interview alone, why I don't believe him, and that's just theories here. And I don't know if you watched the interview.
No, I just read snippets on it.
He used this comparison. The comparison he used while trying to say that he's not in the movie is he was using this game that he said he used to play when he was a kid with, I'm assuming, his schoolmates or whatever, was Werewolf, where, you know, you are told you're a werewolf and you're supposed to convince everyone that you're not a werewolf because, you know, you have to have people find out who the werewolf is in this game, and you have to try and convince people that you're not the werewolf when you are. That's the thing. You have to try and convince them that you're not the werewolf when you are.
Fair enough.
And not only that, but in the interview, when he's asked that question, when he's telling people, oh, I'm not the werewolf in this scenario, he is grinning ear to ear talking about Spider-Man. So either he's excited thinking about the fact that he's back, or he's just really passionate about Spider-Man, and it could be both.
All right, let me see. I just...
you gonna pull up the interview?
I'm trying to.
Oh.
Let's see what I can find.
But yeah, he's just. I think he's in it, and if he is in it, that is very, very cool.
Oh, okay. This one. I think this might be it. Let's see. I'm probably gonna do an ad first. Yeah, I mean, I hope he's in it, but I want to hear this werewolf story from him, though.
Yeah, I won't do it justice the way he describes it.
All right, yeah, I gotta wait on this 30-second bullshit advertising about The Purge.
All right, well,
a movie I don't give a shit about.
All right, well, I'll talk then until it's over. So, we know now, Kevin Feige confirmed a few months ago that the movie does tie directly into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which that in and of itself should have been a dead giveaway that the multiverse is a part of this movie.
Right.
And we know Doctor Strange is in this movie. He's in Spider-Man. I don't know how much, maybe just a quick cameo. Maybe he'll be like Iron Man in Homecoming. He'll be there often, but he won't, not a main role.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Sorry. Hold on. Here we go.
All right, we'll get back to this after the interview.
There's nothing to ruin. Really? Like it's so crazy to like. This just gotten out of hand. This is all bullshit. Dude, it's fucking hilarious to me because it's like, because I do have this Twitter account and I see like how often like Spider-Man is trending and it's like people freaking out about a thing and I'm just like, guys, like I wish I could just like be able to speak to everyone and say like. How did this take off? Because you are. I recommend that you chill. Like, listen. I can't speak for anything else apart from myself. Sure. Like they might be doing something.
Oh, that's it.
Did it end there?
Yeah.
Oh, the interview keeps going on. I watched the interview.
Yeah, I don't know.
He goes into the whole werewolf thing and just, I don't know. But
anyway, yeah. So that was a pointless thing.
I don't believe him. Just. Because of the things I just said, and on top of that, like, if they're not in the movie, what's it about? Like, seriously, what's it about?
It's about him getting lost. There's no way home, man.
What if it's Toby and Andrew who don't have a way home? They're stuck in the MCU. There's no way home for them.
Oh, and they're like key characters moving forward in the entire timeline.
I don't know if I'd say that, but probably not. Gonna give Tobey Maguire that big paycheck if you want that. But
right. Oh, and he's got to say the line somewhere in the movie. Listen, there's just no way home, guys.
Oh man. No.
Well, anyway, we could theorize about this all day, but like, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see if what's happening in Loki leads into Spider-Man No Way Home and how that leads into the Multiverse of Madness.
It's crazy to think that this movie is out in a little over 5 months. Yeah. This movie's not even 6 months away. Like, it comes out in December.
I was shocked when you told me that. Like, for me, like, since Corona, I was just thinking every movie comes out in 5 years from today.
Yeah. We're slowly getting, I'd even say we're there. We're back, like, to movies coming out regularly. Black Widow comes out next week.
Yeah.
So, like, and then you have Shang-Chi and Venom in September. You have Eternals in November, and then Spider-Man in December.
Ooh, do you think Venom's? Do you think they're gonna tie in Venom into this Tom Holland Spidey?
I think
we're all rooting for it.
I think it'll be slowly but surely. I think because there's rumors of Tom Holland having a cameo in Venom, so maybe we'll see that. But
do you think we'll see an actual Venom with like Spider-Man chess piece, like Tom Hardy's villain with a Spider-Man?
I don't think we'll see that in this Venom movie, but I think if they keep this story going, because they've already said their goal in the end is to have Spider-Man and Venom meet.
Yeah.
So we know that.
Did it say Tom Holland Spider-Man?
They just said Spider-Man, but I think it's fair to assume Tom Holland. But we live in the world of multiverse now, so God knows what can happen.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
I think it's safe for this sake of this conversation. I'm going to use Tom Holland, but like, they'll probably do the whole thing where the symbiote will get to Spider-Man, we'll get another black suit Spider-Man, we'll get that, and because that's Venom's whole thing. That's why a lot of people found it difficult to believe they were going to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man, was because his whole origin is based around Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think once we get them to meet, once the symbiote gets onto Spider-Man and back to Eddie Brock, that's when we'll get like peak Venom. That's when we will get like Venom. Like he'll have the Spider-Man logo. He'll probably be able to swing through the city like properly, you know. That's when we'll get like true Venom, I think. Though I don't think that will be anytime soon. I don't think it'll be in this Spider-Man movie. I don't think it'll be in this Venom movie.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, Chef Venom. You know, and that seems to be something that got me excited about.
I know a lot of people like kind of cringed at that scene. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought that was funny.
It was.
I thought it was funny to see.
It was humorous. But the trailer didn't really do much for me personally. And like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I swear to God, like everything about Carnage and Woody Harrelson's performance of Carnage.
I know where you're going with
God, he
this.
reminds me of Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Like everything about him, like just sit there and like brooding about, you know, Bart Simpson in his jail cell. Like it's just take out the Simpsons aspect and put Spider-Man junk in there and Venom, and like that's what you have. You have Sideshow Bob in jail. Like, I'm gonna get you, Bart Simpson. I'm gonna get you. You know, Venom, you know, whatever.
I'm just, as of right now, I'm struggling to see how they will make Carnage work in a PG-13 rating. Because, you know, Venom, he can be done without an R rating. We saw that already. Like, you know, would he work better with an R rating? Probably. But he doesn't need that R rating. But Carnage
does.
His name is Carnage.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing is blood.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people were upset. Like, you know, even his, you know, symbiote self like didn't look bloody. Like it just looked like an orange.
He looked like dark orange. Like it was, I guess that would just be brown. But like, it just, I don't know. I'm hoping he's more red. Like. Cause
like blood, like he's supposed
like
to be.
Blood,
he's
yeah,
supposed to, like,
that's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
because there were rumors flying around. Like I think it's been confirmed now that the movie will be PG-13. But at one point there were rumors flying around that the movie would be rated R, and in the trailer they made him look less red, so that it wouldn't be like a red band trailer, because you know it being red and bloody, that would, you know, give you the R rating in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I think it's been now confirmed that it will be PG-13 somehow.
Well,
but like Carnage,
I think they could pull it. I think they can pull off a PG-13 version of Carnage that it won't, you know, like make super fans happy. You know, but it will appease to the greater audience. You know, I think we're gonna leave going. They could have pushed it a little further, but you know, all in all, it's pretty good. You know, like,
yeah, I think they can find a way to make it work. But Carnage would definitely work better with an R rating. Like, without a second thought, he would work better with an R rating, because he, like, stuff in the comic books that he does, he's like, one of the most famous things that he's done is he looked through a phone book. You know,
whoa.
There's more to it than that. He looked through a phone book and he found someone's name, and he didn't like the guy's name. He just didn't like the guy's name, and he goes, I'm going to kill that guy because I don't like his name. And something that he can do in the comic books, or at least in this particular setting, was he called that number. The guy answered, and he traveled through the phone and killed him because he didn't like his name.
They can still do that with a PG-13 rating. It's just not. Look at X-Men. You know, X-Men are PG-13 movies. You know, and I've been rewatching like all the X-Men a lot lately, and like Wolverine you don't see any blood come from Wolverine's victims in that first trilogy.
Yeah, it's actually kind of laughable at certain points.
Right, but like my point is but the effect still comes across that he's hurting and killing somebody. You know, like it works, and they eventually gave us, you know, the Wolverine like we all deserved and they deserved. By they, I mean like, you know, Hugh Jackman and you know, but like, and even then we were all like, man, Wolverine deserves an R rating, but it didn't take away too much from what the movie was. The movies can still do that exact scene. It's just not going to be like he's going to go through the guy's ear and like explode out of his head and like, you know, suck his brains like sushi, you know, like it's that. No, obviously it's not going to go that route, even though we would want it to, but it could still give us that same impactful moment. You know, you'll hear a scream off camera and then, you know, that's it.
I'm hoping though that the fights are a little better. I like the action in Venom, but I'm talking about like when it's symbiote against symbiote. You can't tell what's happening.
Yeah,
like
especially
it's just like
when it was like that first movie where they're almost the same color.
Yeah.
It's
just two blobs just moving on screen. Like that was all that was happening. Like, especially when like they were near the fire, and fire is one of Venom's weaknesses.
It's like,
and they're just like falling apart already, and then they're just like mixing together, and it's like, what is happening right now? Like, and it's dark outside to make it worse. And it's
Flubber, rated R.
Yeah, it was just like flubber. Like, I hope the action's a little better in that sense. That's kind of why I want Carnage to be more red and like brighter red, is so you can at least kind of tell what's happening.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, that movie, when does that come out?
That's in September, so that's about 2.5 months away.
Oh man, that's what I'm excited for. That's definitely going to kick off the Halloween season for me here.
Yeah.
You know, now is that going to be only in theaters?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, movies are slowly starting to get back to that theatrical only release thing, and like to the point where they're now like promoting like, you know, only in movie theaters. Like they're making it like a big point. Like, this movie is only going to be in theaters. Like, you're not going to be able to find this on, like, you're not going to be able to find this to rent. It's not going to be on Disney Plus. Like, this movie, if you want to see it, you're going to have to go to the theater.
Well, I think at least the good part about what's happened with movies in the past.
Oh, my bad. I forgot to turn that off.
The past year and a half is like, we'll see movies with the option to stream a lot sooner than we would before. You know, like movies will be out for like, maybe, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a random number, you know, 2-3 months. And then when that decline starts happening, then they'll do they'll do the still in theaters option, you know, whatever streaming service, you know, that Sony decides to put their stuff on. And
yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah. Which sucks because I do not want to go into theaters. I'm so against theaters right now.
I know you are, and that sucks because you're the only person that would take me to the theater.
No, I'll take you to the theater, but I will bitch about it if anybody complains or anybody's talking during the fucking movie, because that's what happens. Think about the last like 5 times we went to the theaters. How many times did it happen where somebody disrupted the movie?
About every time.
Yeah, or at least 70% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't know how to movie now. They have no respect. They don't give a shit. People don't care. You know, like when we went and saw, Spiral. You know, the last movie we saw in theaters, Spiral. And I know you couldn't hear them, at least not as loud as I could. But like people next to me were just talking about, what the fuck, where are we gonna go eat after this? You guys want to go to Applebee's? Like, what? You're in the middle of a fucking movie. And I knew that. I pegged them. As soon as they walked in late, I was like,
that's always the first red flag.
I was like, dude, these people don't give a fuck. You know, they didn't care enough to make it into the theater on time. They weren't trying to be like, oh, shh, you know, be quiet, you know, our seats are up here. No, they're just walking in like, you know, oh, sweet. Man, look at this, you know, thin crowd or whatever. Or like that one guy when we went and saw Chucky.
Yep. I knew you were going to bring it up at some point.
That son of a bitch. Hey, Chucky! Or Charles or Chuck or whatever the fucking name he was yelling. And then he was yelling at the screen, oh, don't go in there! Like, your classic bad movie guy. Like, there's caricatures of him in cartoons. Like, that's what he lived up to. You know, and then I saw him after the theater, and he looked exactly how I thought he would look. You know, he just had that like a bar mustache, mullet. You know, still wearing the sunglasses. It's almost dark out. Wearing your fucking tank top. You know, sorry. Now I'm just nitpicking. But anyway, my point is, I've grown to not like going to theaters because I get so focused on movies that any disruption really bugs me.
Yeah.
And
start renting private rooms in the theater. Start doing that if you want to go see a movie in theater. It's only $100 per person.
I mean, that's only like $70 more than just going to theater with a friend. So that's not too bad. But anyway, we're getting off track here. So we were talking about the multiverse and, you know, going into Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, which I at first I could tell you what that movie was going to be about, but now with this Loki thing and the TVA, like
Doctor Strange is very confusing. Like it's probably the most secretive Marvel movie at the moment, because I've seen some people say, oh, Spider-Man's actually the most secretive. It's like, no, we know everything about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We know nothing about Doctor Strange. There was one set photo from that entire movie, and it was taken like from Sam Raimi, so it's like not like a leaked set photo. It's like it was Sam Raimi just on set. Like that was it. We don't know what happens in this movie. That. Yeah. And something that makes me even more excited. The two people that wrote the script, one of them was Sam Raimi. The other one is Michael Waldron, who is also writing Loki. So the same guy who's writing Loki is writing Doctor Strange too. And he's doing a good job with Loki.
Yeah, he is.
A really good job. So I'm excited to see what he does with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and to bring this back to Loki for a second here.
I can talk about Loki all day.
One thing I just want to make a point about, like, is I know for a fact that the TVA is going to come crashing down. It has to.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I was theorizing, or even like it was actually during the live stream, I kind of came up with this, like, people were talking about what they liked about Wanda Vision, like how she created this hex where people didn't know who they were. And I was like, hey, guys, this sounds exactly what's happening in Loki. Like, they live in this world where magic doesn't work. These people aren't who they think they are. You know, like this sounds like what happened in WandaVision.
But good.
What
I'm joking.
But my point is like maybe there's a parallel we're not connecting here. And the TVA is just all an illusion. You know, I was like, who's to say they're really clipping timelines here? Like, that doesn't even make sense. We're here to control the timeline. Like, the universe is going to do what the universe does. It doesn't need controlling unless there's a motive, unless there's something that they're hiding in each of these variants that, you know, they're just pruning the variants that will like end up revealing the secret that they're trying to hide rather than protect the universe or whatnot.
Yeah. You know, we'll finish right now everything I have typed down for Loki, just to, you know, while we're on the topic. One of the bigger questions, and the only reason I say it's a bigger question than other questions, is because they made it a point to bring up in the show, and that's who created the TVA. Who created the TVA? Because timekeepers aren't real. Clearly, they're fake.
Well, those timekeepers, yeah.
But I think there's one person. I don't know who it is, but I don't think there's multiple people that created the TVA to keep the sacred timeline. I think there's one person behind all of it who just wants control of everything. And I think there's two big options here. One of which is a Loki variant, another Loki variant. Maybe created the TVA. And the other option, Kang the Conqueror.
There is another option that we discussed in the stream, and it wasn't a Loki variant. It was Kang, and then there was the One Above All. Is that his name?
I don't know that.
I think that's his name. Let me fact check myself here. Yep, One Above All. Because One Above All is a character that in the comics he created the timekeepers.
Huh. Well, there's your third option.
Right, and like so, yeah. But Kang and One Above All are the two options, and the reason why One Above All actually became the bigger option is because Kang's story. And this is coming from comic book nerds. I don't know this. I was just happily listening at this point in the live stream. But yeah, the thing about Kang is that his story is so big, like it would be hard just to shoehorn him in to a small story like this. And that was like the debate with that.
That's the thing, though, is like, if he did create the TVA, I don't think he would just be shoehorned into this smaller story, because we already know Kang is coming. He's in Ant-Man 3. That's been like announced officially now by Kevin Feige himself, that Kang the Conqueror is going to be in Ant-Man 3. And, introducing him here wouldn't be like I don't think it would be a random spot. I think the only thing that would make it random is if he has nothing to do with the TVA.
Yeah.
If he has nothing to do with the TVA and then he shows up, then what's the point?
I definitely think One Above All and Kang are the two main options. You seem to have this like weird obsession with Loki being everything.
I mean,
my theory is everybody's Loki. No, stop talking. But then again, you could be right, and then I'll put my foot in my mouth. But to me, it's an elementary way to look at the story, because I think that's what they're trying to get you to think. And
right.
But I think you're onto something with Kang. I almost said Kong. I think you're onto something with Kang, and then One Above All was a name that I never heard before.
I've never heard of.
Matt Hayes is the one that brought that up. Because he's deep into the comic book lore, along with Al Seward from Dark Side Reviews. But so he's the one that brought up. Well, actually, the One Above All is the one who created the Timekeepers in the comics. Like, he created them, and so it would make sense that he's the one creating them.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Now you have me thinking about that. Now that could definitely be a possibility.
Right, absolutely.
But at this point, let's be honest, anything can be a possibility.
Yeah, anything can be. Miss Minutes.
I think the two biggest options, though, are, like you said, the One Above All and Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, cool. I think we beat Loki into the ground.
Well,
is there one more thing?
I was going to point this out just quickly. What about the other 4 Lokis? What's up with them? Were they pruned?
According to what the show has told us so far, yes.
Because I forgot to type it down, so I'm going to look it up right now. But they revealed their names, like the names of each Loki.
Yeah,
that was there.
One of them was like Beast something Loki. That was the one who was wielding the hammer.
Yeah, here we go. So we have classic Loki, which is the one all the way to the right in that ridiculous costume. Kid Loki,
right? So.
Boastful Loki.
That's one of them. Boastful
that's who you're thinking of. And then Gator Loki.
Yeah, the Boastful Loki is when I was chatting with the guys on the live stream before we went on the live stream.
Yeah.
And I don't know comic books. I just know the movies. And I was like, what's up with that Thor? And I was like, or is that a Loki who can wield, the hammer? And then Matt Hayes responded to me and said, that's actually Boastful Loki. He's the one that's worthy of not only, he is a Loki, but he's worthy of carrying the hammer and having the name Thor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So and he's an actual character. So yeah, this is and the fact that did you catch the backdrop?
Yep. That's New York. Avengers Tower was off to the right too.
Well, I mean, that was Avengers Tower. Was that New York?
I think it's safe to say it's New York.
Maybe,
we'll see.
Well, one theory that we went down in the live stream was, and I'll put the link to that live stream since I keep bringing it up in the comments. But we discussed was, what if this is like, one of those trash planets, that things just get dumped into, and like we'll see Jeff Goldblum show up out of nowhere.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, hear that noise that just happened? That was your mind blowing.
It wouldn't make much sense, but just thinking about Jeff Goldblum showing up, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and like they're being dumped onto this trash planet,
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, maybe that's where the variants go. Like they're just all put into, they all become slaves and have to, fight to the death with the newest, whatever they call them, the newest. What did he call Hulk? Minus Winter or something like that.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh,
but
God, that's gonna bug me.
You got that on my mind. That I actually kind of like that.
You should tune into the whole live stream next time.
Because there's been theories, just theories that the final episode there could be up to 40 different Lokis.
Yeah.
That would be insane, by the way. Just throwing it out there. That would be really cool. You know, I was telling you this earlier. I thought this was funny about how when we first heard about at the time we were just calling her Lady Loki. When I first heard Lady Loki was going to be in the show, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about there being more than one Loki.
Well, get over that quick.
Yeah, I'm already over it. I like Lady Loki. I'm excited to see what they do with especially classic Loki. I'm curious to see what they do there.
He looks so lame.
He does, but I really like it.
He looks like when they did that in Wanda Vision and put him in their classic costumes, it made sense because they were, going trick or treating. Yeah. This guy, he's dead serious in his fucking spandex. Like
they're calling him classic Loki. And
yeah, like it's a skin on a video game. Yeah.
There's theories that, like, what if that's a version of Loki that's been in the comic books before? Like, what if they're tying this in directly into the comic books now?
Yeah.
Like, what if that's a version of Loki that's been in the comics before?
That makes sense.
And I wouldn't hate that. Yeah. And, like, we can move on from Loki, but this will put me directly in Doctor Strange. What if there's, like, a multiverse they go to where every character has their comic accurate costume? Not altered to make it look better in the movie, but just their comic accurate costume, no matter how ridiculous it is. That would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, and it seems that somehow movies are starting to lean towards that a little bit more.
They're getting more confident in it now.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad coming up. There's some classic. I saw the poster or the commercial, I can't remember which one, where Harley Quinn was in her black and red, Harley Quinn suit. They showed that. Then you have Puzzle Man or whatever his name is.
Puzzle Man?
I don't know.
I don't know who Puzzle Man is.
I don't know. Who's in the Suicide Squad?
Let's see if I can remember here. Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, Peacemaker, who's played by John Cena.
Well, there's another, classic suit that. And if this movie was made 10 years ago, that costume would have been probably changed to look more serious,
There's going to be 2 Ratcatchers, Ratcatcher 2 being the main one, and I'm pretty sure Ratcatcher 1 is going to be a cameo, and he's going to be played by Taika Waititi. Weasel is in there. I know there's more. There's a lot more I'm forgetting about right now.
Ooh,
Polka Dot Man.
Oh yeah, I forgot Sylvester Stallone was in this.
He's King Shark.
Tom Hardy's cast.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's in the cast list.
I think you're probably looking at a Google casting list.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. If a movie's not out yet, never trust a Google casting list. They will throw anyone in there. But usually if you want to look at a cast list for something upcoming, go to IMDb. Usually you can trust them.
Oh, yeah. This has Henry Cavill.
Oh, yeah. Jesse
Eisenberg.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, no, click out of that and go to IMDb. But, yeah, I'm curious about the Suicide Squad. I'm worried about it at the same time. But
the point is that, the classic costumes are making a comeback.
Yeah. And we already know it was on a casting grid that was, I can't remember if it was leaked out or revealed, but a casting grid that says that in Doctor Strange 2 they were casting someone to be a citizen on Earth 616, which, if you don't know what Earth 616 is, that is the main Marvel Earth. Like, in the current main comic books, they are on Earth 616. So Doctor Strange 2 is tying the MCU directly into the comic books.
Yeah.
They're going into the comic books. How long they'll spend there doesn't really matter. They're tying it into the comic books somehow. And just that...
The look... I wish we were doing video right now, because the look on your face, you are... for the namesake of this podcast, full frontal nerdity right now.
I'm just...
You're so excited.
I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm more just wowed at the fact of...
Intrigued by it.
Intrigued and wowed by, what kind of world we live in the comic book world now.
In the comic book movies, yeah, the CBMs.
Especially comic book movies.
But just like evolution does, it's going across the board. It's heading that, and DC's doing the same thing with the Flash.
You want to move on to the Flash?
Well, I mean, we can talk about it. Hold on, let me change my seat.
Okay.
Maybe I do like that chair better.
It's comfy.
No, I mean, yeah, look at the Flash. I mean, they're bringing back Keaton. This is literally the Batman with Flash in it, and like, and also Ben Affleck, he's in it as well.
Yeah,
and then like some spoiler character that,
the leaked concept art that came out. They're covering someone up. Who could it be? Could it be Wonder Woman? Maybe Superman. There's rumors it could be Cyborg. I don't think so, but it could happen.
Yeah. Or maybe like they're passing it off as like spoiler alert. Like we don't want you to know who this is, but maybe it was the concept art with Cyborg when he's originally in the movie, and like since they took him out, they're like,
yikes.
Well, let's just put a spoiler alert, and we'll like put somebody else in that spot. Like.
I think one of my favorite rumors or theories is that it's either Batgirl or Batman Beyond from the Keaton verse, which would lead into another Michael
So you're
Keaton
saying
movie.
because we all speculate that Batman Beyond is going to spin off of this because
of course it's going to. I guess
but
WB doesn't really have a brain,
but right, yeah, but you're theorizing that we'll actually see a little bit of Batman Beyond in this one. Like he's already training,
Yeah.
Who plays the Batman in Batman Beyond?
Terry McGinnis.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Sure.
I mean, that's who takes up the mantle.
Gotcha. That's what I'm talking about. So that's probably who. That's a good thought.
Yeah. I mean, it could be either of them. Maybe somehow they got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
I think fun is the wrong word.
I don't think so, because you got. I've always loved
everything about his Batman, about Thomas Wayne Batman, is just
not fun.
Goddamn depressing. So like,
yeah, it is, isn't it? But
yeah, and like, because we all want that to be Ben Affleck's cameo. We all want that letter. To happen.
They have to. I want to say they have to do it, but it's. I really don't think it's going to. But I think we'll get a cool scene to make up for it. Something that might bring a tear to some people's eye. I think we're going to see Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck Batman meet. They have to do it. They have to have them meet, right? Like it's just like you have them both already. They have to meet.
There would be one reason why they wouldn't.
WB? Not what? What?
Well, because Michael Keaton is badass. Like we all love Michael Keaton. But you put Michael Keaton next to 6'5", Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton's gonna look like a weenie. I'm not gonna lie. So like visually speaking, aesthetically speaking, it might be a bad idea to put them in the same room together.
I can kind of see that. But
like you're Batman? Do you get your ass kicked all the time?
Oh,
and literally, like Ben Affleck's pointing down. I don't know how
like
tall.
talking to a toddler.
It's like, oh, he's adorable.
We've seen set photos now of Michael Keaton, not in a bat suit, but just as Bruce Wayne. We've seen the set photos. We don't really know what's going on because nobody was in their costumes in this particular area. But if I had to guess what was happening, because you had Ezra Miller in a suit, like just like a suit and tie. You had Michael Keaton also in a suit and tie.
I don't think I've seen this.
Maybe just look up Flash movie set photos. You might be able to find it. But you have them both in a suit and tie. They're in like a crowd. What if they're at like the trial of Henry Allen? What if they're in court? Like maybe this is like near the end of the movie because maybe they'll take Michael Keaton into the main Earth, the main DC EU Earth, and he'll attend the trial of Henry Allen. That's just a theory going around.
Is this one of them? Oh no, that's from the original movie.
80s.
Yeah, that's from the original.
That Supergirl photo is one of the set photos that came out that day.
She looks weird.
There should be more.
She looks very baby got backy. You know what I mean?
There's one on the right. The right. Oh, there's one right there too. You're hovering over it right now. That's the one with Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That. Yeah, Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne, and over to the right, there's another one.
Who's this? Oh, is
that's
that
Ezra Miller?
Okay.
And right next to him is Iris from the Snyder Cut.
Look at that.
And I like that they're bringing her back because there were rumors going around for a while that they were going to recast her, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Because she was cool in the Snyder Cut for her 2 minutes. But
yeah, she was. Yeah, she did such a great job pretending like those wieners weren't flying at her face.
Oh, you immediately went back to Michael Keaton. I don't blame you, but
well, I mean, come on, like he's carrying this entire movie on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, he is. But
yeah, he looks good. I like the blue suit.
Yep.
See, that's where that blue belongs. That Batman, Gotham blue that belongs like in shit like this. His like suit and tie does not belong in a fucking like bat suit. Sorry, I'm still on that train. Anyway,
I know you are. But, one of the bigger questions, or one of the many bigger questions, is
already sirens going off.
Phew.
It's not even 9:30. Someone's already blown themselves up.
One of the many bigger questions for this movie is: will Ben Affleck suit up? Will he suit up as Batman, or will he only be a Bruce Wayne cameo? Your thoughts?
I think it'll only be a Bruce Wayne cameo.
I agree.
I think if he does suit up, I don't think he'll suit up. I think we'll see like a CGI version of him, like jumping off like from rooftop to rooftop, like from a distance.
Yeah.
Because maybe again going back to that Jeffrey Dean Morgan thing that we want, maybe this Michael Keaton Batman and this Flash come across this Thomas Wayne that belongs to like this other Batman, like. He's the Thomas Wayne. God, my brain is twitching just trying to figure out how this is going to work. Yeah, and then they have to find that Batman to deliver that letter to.
Oh boy, it's just Batman into the Batverse.
Or what if it's something
Spider-Man can do it?
Or what if it's something different? Batman? What if we don't get Thomas Wayne Batman, but like they travel through time to like a part in BVS and like explain to Thomas Wayne what's going to happen, and he's able to write that letter before he dies. And then they give it to Batman now. Like, I don't know. Anything could happen. Like, I'm just trying to think of different variations of how we can get that same impactful moment of, Bruce Wayne reading a letter from his dead father. Yeah. That was written,
It's got to be Ben Affleck, too. Like, in that moment.
It has to.
Because I've seen people throw around rumors that, like, this is how they'll also tie it into The Batman, like, by Matt Reeves. And there's rumors that, like, it's Ben Affleck at the start, and then they go and mess with the timeline. When they get back, it's Robert Pattinson, and he's the one who reads the letter. And it's like, that would be cool, but it wouldn't be the same.
You'd rob that moment.
It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, you would rob that moment. The thing that sticks out about, Ben Affleck, Batman, that Thomas Wayne, from BVS is that Thomas Wayne was fighting back.
Yeah, he was.
That's what hints at that, him being that multiverse Thomas Wayne that suits up, because he's the one, like, he clenched that fist and he was about to beat that dude's ass. You
know what I'm glad they aren't doing, which was a rumor when we first heard Michael Keaton was coming back, is that Michael Keaton was going to be Thomas Wayne. That was a theory going around, and I wouldn't have liked that. That would have just been weird.
Yeah, it would have been weird.
Like, why is he Thomas Wayne?
That's dumb.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why people thought that was going to be a thing. But either way, I'm glad it isn't.
I mean, like, here I say that's dumb, but like I would 100% be down for Christina Ricci playing, her mom. Morticia Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though she played the daughter in the previous films, like, so like to me that wouldn't be weird, but like
this would.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, it would be weird.
I'm excited to see Michael Keaton come back. I don't think Michael Keaton had the best writing. in terms of like character development. He's kind of the same throughout both movies, and
Yeah.
even his Bruce Wayne and Batman aren't any different. Like he acts the same. I'm thinking they'll at least do something. I think he'll like maybe they'll quickly bring up that Batman he'll be like, "Oh, I used to, kill all the criminals, but he's like I've gotten away from that now." And like, that would be the best writing he's had. But
yeah.
I feel like they'll have something like that to for him to be like, "Oh, I don't kill anymore. I've learned my ways." And I think I would like that. I think it'd be cool. Finally have a Batman who's not a stone cold killer.
It would be an interesting aspect that just kind of popped in my head. What if the Ben Affleck that we see in this movie is actually the Ben Affleck between BVS and the Snyder Cut? And like, because there is a huge difference between him, and obviously, like everyone's like, well, his experience with Superman is what changed him. He saw humanity in Superman. That's what changed his, put him back on the right track, to be the hero that he can be. But what if they just kind of input something right into that taint of those two movies, and that could help. And the reason why I throw this out there, because right now we don't really have a conclusion for that Batman, but like we do, but we don't. Like, how are we gonna take the nightmare sequence seriously in the Snyder Cut, and then have like a conclusion to Batman in this movie where they don't acknowledge that whatsoever? It's gonna be one of those effed up, Fox style continuity issues.
I think this movie is going to give us a conclusion to Ben Affleck's Batman, but I'm afraid it's not going to be the one we want. Part of me is afraid they might kill him off in this movie as like a one final way to like just get rid of him, which I don't want them to do, but it seems like something they might do.
Or what if, highly unlikely because Warner Brothers, but what if they do pay homage to the Snyder Cut and Affleck does suit up as Nightmare Batman?
I don't think we'll get anything of the sort. I don't think
you're right.
I think the closest thing we'll get to Snyder in this movie is Supergirl's symbol.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck.
And Ben Affleck's 3.5 second cameo, but
that's not a real number. You just threw that out there, right?
I just threw that out. We don't know how much he's going to be in this movie.
I'm just clarifying for anybody listening.
They I told you all that concept art that leaked out. It came from a video, like a behind-the-scenes video, which I'm assuming is going to be shown at something like a Comic-Con or maybe Fandom, but
like Deadpool, the thing that got Deadpool made.
Yeah,
that sort of like concept video, but it's all CGI.
Yeah. I think it might kind of be something like that, but that wasn't really a behind-the-scenes like video. This one has like the actors in the chairs like talking. Like no one but Ezra Miller was sitting in the chair, but Ezra Miller did mention that there are multiple Batmans, and they were showing clips from old movies with Ezra Miller, and they showed a clip from Justice League, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're gonna take inspiration from that, not the Snyder Cut." And then they showed a clip from the Snyder Cut in this behind the scenes video, and everyone's like, "What are they doing here? Like, are they just gonna pull pieces from both somehow?" Like,
but again, you haven't seen the video.
I have seen the video.
Oh, is it still up?
I don't know.
Damn it.
I mean, it might be. It might be hard to find, but
yeah.
I've seen it. I didn't save it. I saved pictures from it being the concept art. But the concept art is cool. We got a new look at. We got to look at the new Batmobile. We got a good look at the Flash's new suit with the gold boots. Ooh,
oh yeah,
the gold boots look good.
I think I saw that photo up here. I think this is a version of it, and it doesn't have the boots.
Yeah, that was concept art shown at Fandom.
All right, there's that.
But yeah, just this movie's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a big movie.
Yeah. I guess I haven't seen the one with the gold, but like I think I saw it, but
right here.
I didn't. Oh, that's where I saw it. Was your phone? Okay, let me see that. I knew I saw it. I didn't remember where. Well, at least. Hopefully they explain the costume change. God damn it. Sick and tired of costume changes not being explained.
What about the color of the lightning being changed? How about that one? I think that's something that should be explained more.
Oh, because he's got yellow lightning instead
In all
of blue.
the concept art, he's got the yellow lightning.
Son of a bitch.
I don't care. I actually prefer the yellow lightning.
Yeah, but just explain it. That's all you got to do. Just explain it. And God, get rid of those fucking wings for ears. Jesus
no,
Christ.
that's like a classic Flash thing.
I like this. I like this. I like the one, the Snyder version of it. Like, I can accept that. It doesn't look goddamn ridiculous. The other ones look ridiculous.
They don't look ridiculous. They look like the Flash.
All right. But anyway,
They got the Flash wings. That's classic Flash.
so there's so anyway, there's your two multiverse movies coming out.
Yeah.
That they're pretty much just going to be the same thing. Just one's for Marvel, one's for DC. Do you think we'll ever get a Marvel DC crossover?
Not anytime soon. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because especially with what James Gunn said recently, how he has talked to both Marvel and DC about the possibility of one.
Yeah.
He never said, like, oh, something's happening, or, like, maybe. He just said that, all he said was, oh, yeah, I've talked to both of them about the possibility of it. That would be huge.
Yeah.
That would be big if they did that. And I know they've done crossovers before.
Like in the comics.
In the comics. They had an entire comic book crossover. They've done multiple of them. Like, they had Marvel versus DC, and then they had, like, Superman and Spider-Man crossover comics, and, like, I don't know.
Just imagine what doors that would open up. I mean, it would open up doors not just to do like a one finite story, but something that continues on in both lores of the comic book movies. You'll see somebody from DC show up in Marvel every now and again, or vice versa. Like just a distant, like, hey, we got so and so from Earth 573, where this guy lives.
If they ever were to do that, I would want them to keep it a secret. Maybe not the whole movie if they were doing, like, one movie about it, but, like, if they did agree on something and had a DC character, let's say, show up in a Marvel movie, that would be the biggest twist ever. Wouldn't it? Like, thinking about it, like, if, let's say you're watching a new Spider-Man movie, let's say it's, about the multiverse, and who shows up? The Flash. Could you imagine? Could you imagine watching a Spider-Man movie and the Flash shows up?
Yeah,
or
like,
the other way around.
Yeah,
like,
like there's this huge cosmic event, going on, and then like somebody like almost like an asteroid hits the Earth, and like you're watching an Avengers movie or something like that, and then from rising from the ashes, you see two pointed ears. Batman stands up and like boom, ends credit. Credits roll.
That would be. Throwing it out there again, I don't think this will happen. It's just I'm kind of playing with the idea of like, how would people react to that? Like,
it would need to be an actually kept secret thing, just like Ezra Miller showing up, in the TV series.
They kept that really well hidden.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did, because that was just like, wait, what? And now there's rumors that Grant Gustin will be in the movie. Or, Grant Gustin being the Flash from the TV show.
Right.
Will show up in the movie.
Well, also, a show we just watched tonight, Daredevil.
Yep. Being in
Spider-Man. We're starting to binge that.
That's good.
Daredevil might actually be in Spider-Man. And
it's basically all but confirmed at this point that he's been in it. There's been multiple sources. No one like Variety or The Hollywood Reporter has talked about this yet, but other sources have said that he's in the movie, and like he finished filming like a while ago too. Like,
yeah, and I've heard some of the rumors, and the one that makes sense is that he's actually going to be the lawyer for.
Oh, of course he will be.
For Peter Parker.
If I'm gonna take
for whatever reason that he needs to go to court for I don't know why you would take him to court just for also being Spider-Man, but like, he's going to be a
Mysterio thing. Mysterio's framed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mysterio framed him. Oh yeah, duh. If I had
to take a guess, just a quick like guess, because the whole people thought this movie, like before Jamie Foxx was ever confirmed. People thought this movie would just be a direct continuation of Far From Home, and it would be about the secret identity storyline. And people thought, he's going to be on the run from the police or the government, as well as villains who know his identity. What I'm going to guess is within the first 20, 25 minutes, it will be resolved legally. Peter Parker will be safe legally, but people will still know he's Spider-Man. So this movie will deal with Spider-Verse, and then in Spider-Man 4, we'll get that, villains chasing after him or whatever because they know he's Spider-Man type story that people thought we were going to get. And it's going to be tied, or I'm guessing, Kraven the Hunter will probably be the villain in that movie. Because we're getting a Kraven...
Spider-Man 4?
Spider-Man 4, yes. Okay. Kraven is getting a standalone movie, in the beginning of 2023. And if they keep up this every 2 years schedule that they've been doing with these new Spider-Man movies, that should be right around the corner at that point.
Yeah.
And they've already cast Kraven. Aaron Taylor Johnson, getting a second chance with Marvel, is playing Kraven the Hunter.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
He played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay.
He's playing Kraven the Hunter, so here's his second chance with Marvel. But yeah.
Can I go back as Quicksilver? No, we're actually gonna get the other guy. But you can do something else. Yeah,
I really went on about that, didn't I?
There's no sense in there actually being a real trial about the whole Mysterio thing. Like, oh yeah, we're going to believe this guy that literally just got busted for constantly deceiving people. There's no water being held there. Like, his entire shtick was he would use cameras to deceive people.
Right, but he's convincing the public that Spider-Man was the one controlling them. That was the whole thing. Because
it's been so long since I've seen the end of that one.
I watched the movie recently, and it's not very good. It's like a Disney Channel movie, but the end of that movie, it has Mysterio in Times Square, I believe.
Yeah.
Mysterio is on screen. You got J. Jonah Jameson, and Mysterio's like, Spider-Man. He's the one who did this. He's like, Spider-Man's about to kill me. And then they have the edited audio where it's like, would you like me to execute the victims? And Spider-Man's like, yes, execute them all.
Yeah.
And so I
remember that now.
He's convincing the public that Spider-Man is responsible for all of it, and not him, and that Mysterio was the real hero trying to stop Spider-Man. And then it ends, with, oh yeah, his real name is Peter Parker, and then it shows the picture of him. So that's why he would go to court.
They did that Home Alone ending.
Yeah.
So, with the hand on the face.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I know it's probably just going to be another cameo, but J.K. Simmons is now confirmed to be in this movie as well. So
I would like to see a Tom Holland, J.K. Simmons, and Tobey Maguire, J.K. Simmons meet up.
I was just about to say that. Because I was thinking in my head, all right, when you're done saying this,
and this is where the DC Marvel crossover can happen, because then he shows up as Commissioner Gordon right there.
Well, and then he shows up as they got that new show on Amazon right now called Invincible. J.K. Simmons plays one of the characters. You could have him show up. Boom, there's another comic book property right there.
Wow. That's it. J.K. Simmons can be the new Stan Lee cameo guy.
But yeah, and these this is something that I really want to talk about with Spider-Man. Like the Funko Pop toys that they'll have?
Yeah, I saw the leaks on that.
Well, they were officially revealed yesterday.
Or maybe it wasn't a leak, yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man is using magic on one of them. And by magic, I mean he has Doctor Strange magic. He's using Doctor Strange's magic. What is up with that? What's up with that? Why is he using Doctor Strange's magic?
Because maybe in some multiverse he's the keeper of the time stone. I don't fucking know. I don't even have room in my head to ponder that. I'm so I'm so overloaded with everything we just talked about.
My brain is like
I'm right now. You can be like, and then I saw Iron Man wearing a Superman cape, and I'm like, not surprised. Nothing surprises me now.
Yeah, these movies are a lot, especially when you talk about both of them back to back. Spider-Man and the Flash. My head hurts. But
yeah, I'm exhausted.
let's talk about something smaller scale real quick, and the fact that Daredevil is coming to the MCU again. Let's stick on that for a couple minutes.
So do you think they're gonna bring that Michael Murdock into the actual
Matt Murdock?
God damn, why do I keep calling him Michael?
I'll tell you why you keep calling him Michael. It's because Claire, I think was her name, Rosario Dawson's character in the show, calls him Mike.
Oh.
I think that's why you're calling him Michael Murdock.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, it's Matt Murdock. But anyway, continue your question about Michael Murdock.
I hate you. So, like, him being in this MCU, do you think that's going to make, every Daredevil episode? I know they've always said that they are canon to the MCU, but it's always been, like, a big question mark. Are they really?
Yeah.
Because, like, where the hell are they at? Like, they had to cancel after 3. Because imagine explaining the blip in all these TV shows.
Oh boy! Yeah,
I think now that I'm thinking about it, that might be the reason. Like, Netflix ended it. They're like, okay, the MCU just did something that we can't ignore because we said this is all in the same continuity. How can we explain the blip?
I don't know.
Because I remember thinking that because season 3 ended before Infinity War came out.
That's not true.
Did it not?
Infinity War came out at the beginning of 2018. Season 3 ended at the end of 2018.
Okay, but like...
It was made before Infinity War came out, if that's what you mean.
Yes. So, like, the writing, like, okay. So, in that aspect, my point is like, going into season 4, you can't continue ignoring that.
Yeah.
Because when they shot, Daredevil, Infinity War hadn't released yet, so the blip.
People are thinking that Daredevil is just he's gonna cameo in this movie and then he's just gonna be gone again. And some people are thinking, oh, this is gonna be like your last hurrah with Daredevil.
Yeah.
That couldn't be further from the truth. Let's be honest here. This is their way of bringing him back, like, permanently. They have the rights back, and he's a fan favorite. People love the show. Why wouldn't they keep him around?
Well, because it's... Yeah, what version of him are we going to get?
Probably the same one from the show.
Well,
I don't see why
I know, but my point is... Well, you said you don't see why not? Because it's Disney. They're not going to have what we just watched today as a main character in the MCU.
Kevin Feige will. They're doing Deadpool. You got to think about that. They're doing Deadpool.
Yeah. But they're going to do that under 20th Century.
No, I think it's under Kevin Feige's control.
Well,
and he controls Marvel Studios.
Kevin Feige was also part of X-Men.
Not after, like, Marvel Studios, right? But my point is he runs Marvel Studios. He doesn't have control of 20th Century Fox. He has control of Marvel Studios. That's going to be released under Marvel Studios. Deadpool 3 is. I guarantee it. Now, whether it's connected to the larger MCU is a different question. But
Right.
It will be labeled Marvel Studios. I can promise you that.
So going back to that, but they are introducing this Matt Murdock into the MCU as we know it now.
Yes.
So in that light, are they going to continue telling his story in the same fashion it has been told previously? I don't know.
I think so.
I mean, I hope so.
I'll say yes for one huge reason. I think there's multiple reasons, but one big reason is Kevin Feige especially knows what the people want. He knows what the people want. Like, there were petitions years ago, like, this is before the whole TV show thing with Disney Plus started, but they're like, oh, let's get a Loki movie. How likely would that sound 5 years ago?
Right.
And we got one because fans wanted one. They wanted a Loki movie, so we still got the Loki standalone thing.
Yeah, the series. But
the series, yeah. They want Deadpool to keep being R-rated. He's already confirmed himself that Deadpool is going to continue being rated R. He knows what they want. He's Spider-Verse. Like, come on, like
time travel.
I think you get my point when I say he knows what people want. I don't think he would throw that away.
No, you're right. It's just a matter of if that decision comes down to him or not. Because, yeah, he runs Marvel Studios.
I think it does.
But who runs Marvel Studios? Disney runs Marvel Studios. But unless there's some contractual agreement that I'm not aware of, much like between, Warner Brothers and HBO Max, for prime example.
Yep.
HBO Max. Oh yeah, we're gonna release a Snyder Cut and start an investigation against you. Thanks for the money.
Yep. I think Kevin Feige has a big word in it. He controls the whole thing. Maybe not like the absolute final word in it, but his opinion matters, especially.
Yeah.
I think he will. I think it'll be the same one from the Netflix show.
I'll put that on my wish list. Another thing I want to put on my wish list, which some of y'all might hate me for saying this, but tell me, damn it, I'm telling you, put faith in it. It could work. I want Fantastic Four back, and I want it to be the Josh Trank team. Because they technically started the multiverse. The different dimension. That's how they got their powers, was by crossing over into a different dimension.
That's never gonna happen.
I know. It's my wish list. It's my wish list, not your wish list.
I know it is your wish list. I don't.
Michael B. Jordan, fantastic. Johnny.
He's already in the MCU though.
God damn it, he is, isn't he?
He's Black Panther, or he isn't Black Panther, but he was in Black Panther.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But
well, okay.
I guess one could argue Aaron Taylor Johnson was already Quicksilver.
Well, and another could argue that Captain America was also Johnny Flame. So
Johnny Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
God damn it. I suck at these names. Michael Murdock, Johnny Flame. What's the other one I said?
But yeah, I'm very curious to see what they do with Fantastic Four, though. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was leading into. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're not done seeing Steve Rogers. Yeah, I think we're gonna see him pop up every now and again because he had time travel. He could go wherever he wanted to.
I think
so there's no reason why he doesn't pop up randomly somewhere.
I think the two most likely scenarios we ever see Chris Evans come back, and I even say at least one of these might actually be likely to happen because even the Hollywood Reporter reported a couple months ago that Chris Evans was in talks to come back.
Okay, so what's the scenario?
One being a TV show about him returning the stones to their proper places in time.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
And the other one being the rumored show about Wolverine. Because there was a rumored show that Wolverine was going to get an anthology series telling his whole life in this one story. That being partially held in World War II. That's where we could see him again.
Fair enough. The reason why I even brought him up was because I'd really like to see...
You want to see him interact with Fantastic Four?
Yeah. No matter which variation, Johnny Storm, he's like, I don't know why, something seems familiar about this guy, but then again, we're also talking about Marvel, who missed the opportunity to have, the two Sherlocks not say no shit Sherlock to each other, so again, just pin that up on my wish list. But Fantastic Four, it's definitely going to have to be another, like a multiverse strand, they can't
have to be.
Well, the thing is like they are so deep. They are the first team. They're the first superhero team to ever be created. To ever come together as a team. The first superhero family.
Yeah.
And that's a rich thing. That's a very big thing. That it's going to be difficult just to shoo them in, just like X-Men. It's going to be very difficult to shoo in X-Men without just saying, well, multiverse, and then you can dive into prequels that have no effect, but I guess more so X-Men than Fantastic Four will be harder to shoo in. into the MCU, and still keep to the integrity of the characters. You know, like Magneto, whose story is solely tied to the Holocaust.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to handle that moving forward? Where we're in 2021 now. You know, Holocaust survivors are far and few between. You know, or way too old to be a Magneto. You know, and like even in the 90s, he was old. You know. In a Holocaust survivor, you know, so like one way that they could handle this, a couple of ideas that I've toyed around with, and I think I've heard some theories that would make sense. You know, you race swap Magneto to where, you know, he's got this cultural oppression backstory that could be just as impactful as a Holocaust thing. You know, maybe make him African American, and like his story is, you know, about, you know, the movement of Black lives in the 60s, you know, like, and, you know, the Martin Luther King thing, or like have him be, you know, Spanish and like, you know, whatever, the oppression of Civil War in Mexico. Like it's going to be almost impossible to bring the X-Men up to date without changing the main villain's backstory, because he is strictly tied into World War II. So
I think they'll find a way to do it, whether they get pulled from the multiverse or
time travel.
That's what I was about to say. Or time travel. I think those are the big two options here: multiverse and time travel.
Yeah, that's my whole entire point here, is that there's no other way that I can imagine to properly bring these two entities in. You know, Fantastic Four, maybe they could still just get an origin story that because, you know, they don't need to be as deep seated as the X-Men, but the X-Men's origins, it's woven into American history.
Oh yeah, the X-Men are like,
and so is Fantastic
important.
Four in a certain light, but I don't think their individual, you know, origin stories tie in so deeply that you can't just like root them somewhere else.
I have a theory, and you know, other people have had this theory too, but I think it's a pretty cool theory on how they'll bring in the Fantastic Four and make it make sense.
What's that?
And that's that Ant-Man and the Wasp, they visit the quantum realm. Remember how they said Janet was stuck there, who was Wasp's mom, was stuck in the quantum realm for years.
Yeah.
And she even got powers down there. What if the Fantastic Four is from the 60s? Because, you know, time works differently down in the quantum realm. We saw that in Endgame. What if
they put themselves in the
quantum realm in the 60s? And let's say maybe to them a year passes and they get pulled back up. It's 2025 or whatever. Boom. There you go. And the quantum realm gave them their powers, because we've seen the quantum realm can give people powers.
Yeah.
And they could, if they wanted to, tie them into Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, that would make sense. Yeah. I could buy that. Yeah. For sure. But again, it has to be something like that to make it work. You know, you replace it with what you want. You know, quantum realm, you know, time travel, you know, multiverse, dimensions. You know.
I personally don't think the Fantastic Four needs time travel or multiverse or the quantum realm to make sense. X-Men, they're different. Like you said, you know, Magneto is directly tied to the Holocaust. Like, that's important. That's like you said, his whole thing.
Like, and like the whole, you know, history lesson of the X-Men, like, you know, being a part of segregation of mutants and humans, and like that whole thing just ties in so much. There's no way we haven't heard of them. You know, if Fantastic Four, like, were just four scientists that just suddenly disappeared, okay, we can get away with that's why we haven't heard of them yet.
Yeah,
you know,
mutants would have been brought up already.
Yeah, mutants. There's no way around that. And I'm very curious. Are they going to go the low hanging fruit route, because it seems to be the only route, but that's why it's low hanging fruit. You know, like it's just the common place to pick an idea. that they'll come from the multiverse. Or is there a way that Feige can pull an original story out of his ass to actually make this work and not go the multiverse route? Because that's what if Deadpool's the key?
Oh, he definitely could be.
Yeah, what if Deadpool's the key to all this? Like, okay, yes, we are going to go the multiverse route, but we're not going to create a new X-Men. We're going to just bring those guys over here through Deadpool, because Deadpool will be that link that connects the MCU with the original Fox movies.
Yikes. I don't know.
And Wolverine won't come back because he died. So
they got to do Wolverine
somehow. According to Logan, everybody died, so that wouldn't even make sense either.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't at all. It wouldn't make sense to bring them back and not Logan.
Right.
Just saying that. But
God, man, I'm not envious of the problem Feige has here.
I don't think it's. I think there's two simple answers, and obviously he can come up with something, I'm sure, to make it work. But like you said, the two obvious ones are time travel and multiverse. I don't think they will bring in the same X-Men. I don't think
so either.
Like with multiverse, we've said this multiple times tonight. Anything is possible now with the multiverse happening. But I think they really want to do a fresh spin on X-Men. It's time for a new X-Men.
Yeah, and not the new X-Men that we got.
Yeah, because even then we've had them for a while. Like what was First Class 10 years ago now? Yeah, and that's a while.
But still, even with that,
and even then, the franchise was a mess.
Yeah, it is. It's a fucking mess. Like somehow they aged 40 years
in 5 years.
In 5 years, yeah, it's
it
ridiculous.
Needs a restart.
It does.
I think he will bring in all new cast, all new characters. Well, you know what I mean by all new characters. Everything will be different, except Deadpool.
Well, I hope they keep Colossus from Deadpool, because he's never actually been in an X-Men, like that Colossus has never actually been in an X-Men.
I think they'll keep the main stuff they have in Deadpool. I'm just really hoping that they keep Cable.
Yeah, how fucking crazy would it be that the entire new X-Men franchise would actually come off the back of Deadpool? How crazy is that? Like,
tell that to someone when X-Men Origins in 20 or in 15 years, Deadpool's going to be carrying this entire franchise on his shoulders.
And he will introduce a new cast of X-Men.
And he will be played by the same guy.
Yeah. But nobody else.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's... Wow. And what makes it even funnier is that sounds like something that would happen with a Deadpool thing.
Yep.
So,
but I'm excited for Deadpool 3, because I don't think I've talked about it much, how much I like Deadpool 2. And I'm really hoping that Kevin Feige will bring back that canceled X-Force movie that they were making. Because they were going to do that X-Force movie, it was going to have Deadpool, Cable, what's her name? Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
That was a cool power. Oh, not her. Not her.
You're thinking of Domino.
Domino, yeah.
Yeah, Luck. She'd be in there too.
Yeah.
They'd bring her back. Maybe they'd bring in Psylocke. She was in X-Men Apocalypse. She was only in X-Men Apocalypse, I believe. But she's usually a part of the X-Force team. And I just really don't want them to waste Cable. I really want Cable to come back. I love that duo of Deadpool and Cable, especially Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin.
Right, except there's one giant problem I have with that.
What?
Just Cable coming back to the past to course correct things, to make it to where his family lives, to not ever go see them again.
Yeah, but who cares?
Because he loves Deadpool more. Like, it just doesn't fit to me.
It doesn't fit.
And then Deadpool did fix it. What's he got? Not going to tell Cable now?
I forgot how that movie ended. That's really funny.
Yeah, and is that going to be Stark Tech? Because, Stark created time travel?
No, don't even bring that up. Don't even say that. I already know Taskmaster and Black Widow is going to be Stark Tech. Because, his whole, photographic memory thing is just going to be Stark Tech based. But, no, I think what they're going to do with Deadpool, they'll keep him. I don't know. It's really complicated. It's going to be similar to the X-Men movies where he's in the universe, but he's also like not, like everything that happens in the Deadpool movies does not really affect the greater universe.
Yeah.
But he's still technically there. Like maybe you'll see some characters from the MCU show up in the Deadpool movies. Maybe you'll see Deadpool show up in an MCU movie every once in a while, but you're not going to see them like tied directly in together. Like you're not gonna have to go see Deadpool 3 to understand what's going on in Ant-Man 4. Like they're not gonna do that to their audience, especially if they're keeping that R rating. Because they know a majority of their audience, or at least a big portion of their audience, is kids. They're not gonna put Deadpool in.
And there. Deadpool is that like Deadpool is like that cigarette advertisement. Like for like Camel Joe, like this thing that kids shouldn't smoke, but like he's the one that would intrigue them to come to the R side of things. He's that bad influence. That kid you see smoking in the bathroom that he shouldn't talk to, but if he isn't just so fucking cool.
They got new writers for Deadpool 3, which part of me is like, that's odd, because the writers from the first two did a really good job with both movies. So I'd assume the only reason they didn't come back was they're probably just busy, because I don't know why they wouldn't just bring them back. But they got writers from Bob's Burgers, which is entertaining. So
I like Bob's Burgers.
I do too. But they got them on there writing Deadpool 3. And I know they've already said that Ryan Reynolds is working with them on writing it. So Ryan Reynolds has a heavy hand in there too.
Of course he does.
Yeah, of course he does.
It'd be silly if he didn't.
So I don't know, I'm really curious to see what they do with Deadpool 3.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I have nothing written down. No.
Okay. I think we've covered a broad spectrum of conversation here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be our 4th of July, 3rd anniversary. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me see if I can get this mic out there. Those fireworks are going off like crazy. Last year on that podcast, you can hear them really clearly because
we were outside.
We were using that 3-way microphone that I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it has a microphone on the left and right side, then it has one at the top.
Yeah,
so you
I
could
remember
hear
that.
all the sound from above us, along with us too, as well. Yeah, cool. Well, buddy, I love you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Well, and also a quick shout out to you because you're the one that actually got me into the streams, the Loki streams. Because, remember, like I got hit up, from Matt Seward, saying, "Hey, do you want to do this Loki thing with me?" But I had a podcast scheduled that day, on my other YouTube channel, Studio 47 Presents, and so I was like, well, I already got something else going on, I can't. And then she canceled like last minute, and it was like an hour before they were supposed to start, and I was on the phone with you. I was like, should I call them? Should I hit them up? I was like, if not, then I'm just gonna like do something else. I'm just gonna sit at home and watch a fucking movie or something. I don't remember what my plans were if I didn't do that. But and you're like, Dad, just get a hold of them. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got a hold of them, and then I ended up on that Loki thing, and now I'm part of that Loki stream every week. Except for 2 weeks ago because I was they did it on a Sunday when I was busy doing my open mic. But yeah, so thank you for pushing me in that direction because like I think I found like my team. Like it's my first like live stream team that I've been a part of that has worked on a consistent level. You know what I mean?
You're welcome.
Well, anyway, I just you're my son. I love you, and I hope to do more of these a weekly something with you. I want to do a news. It doesn't have to be 3 hours long.
Yeah,
we
don't even need to be in person either.
No,
if I happen to be home or something one weekend, we can still do it.
Yes, exactly. So let's work on hashing that out.
All right.
And now, by I say let's, I mean both of us, but we'll discuss that off air.
All right.
All right, everybody. Happy 4th of July and happy Film Trigger 3rd year anniversary. Thank you so much for listening, and see y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.